Hello everyone. So we'll do first the equation of straight line in 3D space. So this is the first topic in 3D geometry. First thing, we'll try to compare this equation of straight line in 3D geometry with the equation of straight line which we have done in 2D geometry. Okay. So the first concept is that suppose if we have been given x means only in xy axis, that is in 2D plane, if you have to find the equation of the line, then you remember how many minimum information do we require? So we require two informations to find the equation of straight line in 2D. So equation of straight line required two things. First was slope, right, and second was any point which this line was passing through, right? So basically the slope will give us the parallel lines, and then that particular point which we have to get will give us a particular line. So suppose we have been given a slope of 1 and that line is passing through 1, 1, so we'll get a line accordingly. Now we'll use the same concept in 3D geometry also. That is, in 3D geometry, when we are finding the equation of line in 3D space, we'll require the same two things: slope and a particular point which this line is passing through. But now because we are talking about space, that means in 3D space, the slope will have a different meaning altogether. Okay, so how we can relate this slope in 3D space? So before that, we look at some properties or the way in which we describe a vector. So suppose we have a vector in a space, right? So this vector has three main components. So this vector had three main components. First component was its magnitude, correct? Then the second component was that this vector will be parallel to a particular line, right? So this is the vector given. This vector will be parallel to a particular line. So that was called as support of the vector. Okay. And the third part was the sense of the vector. That is, either this vector could be facing in this or in this, right? So third was the sense of the vector. So when we are talking about a line in 3D space, so let's say if you are talking about a line in 3D space, let's assume that this is the line we are talking about. So what we'll do, this line will contain a slope, kind of slope in 3D, right? So this slope will be given by, this slope related thing will be given by any parallel vector to this. That is, we will need just the support of the vector. The magnitude of the vector and the sense of the vector will not play any role in finding a parallel vector or kind of slope for the line in 3D. Okay, so basically what we are saying here is that we will take any vector which is parallel to the line, Now the line does not have any direction, right? Line does not have any direction. It is simply a line. But however, on the other hand, vector will have a sense, either this or this, right? So this sense will not matter when we are talking about a line. So for this line in 3D, we need two things. First is the slope, which will be given to us by any parallel vector, So we need the support only. The magnitude and the sense will not matter. So magnitude and sense do not matter. Okay, so remember this part. Second is, we have got the slope. Second part is, we need a particular point. So second is point, right? This point will be given to us in vector form. As position vector. So let's see how we can find the equation of line in 3D. So suppose now already a parallel vector is given to us. Let's say this parallel vector be vector B, okay, where the directional ratios, because we do not bother about the magnitude, so we can simply say that directional ratios for this parallel vector are given in terms of A, B and C. Okay, and so we'll be talking about this line, and we'll have one position vector on this line. Let's say the position vector is given by point Q, okay, and the coordinates are x1, y1 and z1. Okay, so what we can do is, we know this will be the vector. So this will be the vector. Let's say this is the vector E1. We can take any point P which has coordinates as x, y and z. So the position vector of this point V will become x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap, and we'll represent it as a general notation R. So we can say that the point P, the vector PQ, we will be able to form a vector PQ, correct? So we will be able to form this particular vector PQ let's say PQ or QP, whichever is okay. So suppose because I have to take X, I want to take X as positive instead of X1. So we'll take simply vector QP. So we can say the vector QP, which is equals to X minus X1 I cap plus Y minus Y1 J cap plus Z minus Z1 K cap. If I want to write in terms of general notation, then we can say R cap minus A1 cap. Now R vector minus A1 vector. Okay, this QP vector is parallel to which vector? This QP vector is parallel to this vector B. So if two vectors are parallel, or you can say they are collinear, then we can write QP vector as a linear combination of the vector B. So QP vector is vector R or position vector R minus position vector A1 is equals to lambda B. So this is R will become A1 plus lambda B, where lambda is a parameter. Okay, so, and it will take, so lambda belongs to real numbers. Okay, so this will give us the vector equation of the line. This will give us the vector equation of line. Fine. Now this is the vector equation of line. So for this we require two things. The most important thing, any one particular position vector or a point lying on this line, and the second part was any parallel vector. For this parallel vector, only support is necessary. The sense and the magnitude. Sense and the magnitude does not matter. Sense and magnitude will not matter. Okay. So now, as we move forward in 2D geometry, in 2D plane, that is when we are finding the equation of line. First we used slope. For the equation of line, we used slope as well as a point, and then after that we moved on to slope. Right? From slope we moved on to 2-point form. So same thing we'll do in the equation of line also. We'll find the equation of line when any two position vectors, by 2 point means in 3D means position vector. When two position vectors are given, then let's say the two position vectors are P, which are given by X1, Y1 and Z1, and the position vector, let's say Q, which are given by X2, Y2 and Z2. Now again we'll do the same thing. For in 2D geometry we used these 2 points to convert this into a slope. Same thing we'll do here also. We'll use these 2 points to convert this into a vector. So let's say we'll convert this into a vector QP or PQ, whichever we want to take. So let's say we'll writing PQ. So PQ is equals to X2 minus X1 I cap, Y2 minus Y1 J cap plus Z2 minus Z1 K cap. If I want to write in terms of vectors, so let's say this is R1, let's say this is R2, vector R1, vector R2. So this will become in terms of position vector R2 minus position vector R1. In terms of diagram, so this is first, this is position vector R2, this is position vector R1, and we have, let's take a general point, any general point on this line. Let's take this point is represented by R. The coordinates of the general point are X, Y and Z. Okay, now same thing. I have already got QP. I can find one more vector, that is I can find vector RP. So vector RP or vector PR will be equals to X minus X1 I cap plus Y minus Y1 J cap plus Z minus Z1 K cap, right? This will be equals to, so this will give me in terms of, if I want to write in terms of vector, this is R1 minus R. This is R1 minus R. This is vector PR. Sorry, this is R minus R1. R minus R1. Okay, now because PR vector and PQ vector are collinear, I can write PR is equals to lambda times of PQ. I will substitute in their coordinates. So this will become R minus R1 is equals to lambda times of R2 minus R1. This will become R is equals to R1 vector plus lambda times of R2 minus R1. So this R2 minus R1, this thing is indirectly giving us the slope, and this is giving us a particular point. Okay, so these two equations which we have just now seen, these are the vector equation of line. Now there is one more form in which we convert these vector equation of lines into a Cartesian form. That is, in Cartesian form we can see, so in Cartesian form we can see the equation of lines in terms of X, Y and Z. Okay, so let's check. We'll write this equation once again, that is R is equals to A1 vector plus lambda times of the vector B. A1 was equals to X1, means the coordinates of A1 vector were equals to X1, Y1 and Z1, and the vector B was equals to AI cap plus BJ cap plus CK cap. If I'll write R as XI cap plus YJ cap plus ZK cap is equals to x1 I cap plus y1 j cap plus z1 k cap, and plus lambda times of b vector was a I cap plus b j cap plus c k cap. If I'll compare the coefficients of I, j and k, I will get x is equals to x1 plus lambda a, y is equals to y1 plus lambda b, and z is equals to z1 plus lambda c. I can now write all these three in terms of lambda. You know, I can just keep lambda on one side, bring everything on the other side. So x minus x1 by a is equals to lambda, y minus y1 by b is equals to lambda, z minus z1 by c is equals to lambda. So here, if because all are equated to lambda, I can write x minus x1 by a, y minus y1 by b is equals to z minus z1 by c. This is known as the Cartesian equation of line in 3D. Cartesian, or you can say Cartesian form of line. Okay, somewhat this resembles somewhat in parametric form of line. Okay. Now, in this, one thing is important for us to notice is that these values x minus x1, this y minus y1, this z minus z1 will always represent the point this line is passing through. The point this line is passing through. Okay, and these values in the denominator, these represents the directional ratios. Directional ratios. Okay, so this is the Cartesian representation of the first form. If we'll try to write down the Cartesian representation of the second form of the line, that is this one. So if I'll just copy this one also, so r is equals to r1 plus lambda times of r2 minus r1. So we can simply write x minus x1 by x2 minus x1, y minus y1 by y2 minus y1, z minus z1 by z2 minus z1. So this will again be the Cartesian form of the line when 2 points are given. Okay, so 2-point Cartesian form. Okay, now this is the equation of line which we have been seeing. So this is the Cartesian form. Now on any point on this line can be represented in the form of, so any point can be represented as lambda a plus x1, lambda b plus y1, and lambda c plus z1. Fine. So this will be the lambda form of any point lying on the line. Okay, so basically what we are saying is that we have just written x, y and z from here, and we have written in terms of coordinate of the point. So this will be the coordinate of any point lying on the line. So this is the general representation. Fine. Okay, so now from here we can move on to the next concept, that is angle between two lines. Okay, now it is very simple to find the angle between two lines. If suppose two lines are given like this, okay, that is, I will write general form. So r is equals to, let's say, a1 plus lambda times of b1, and this is r is equals to, let's say, a2 plus mu times of b2. Remember, always if you are taking two lines, just take one form in terms of lambda, other forms in terms of mu. Just keep these parameters different so that we will be able to differentiate the values of lambda and mu. Okay, now if these two, we have to find the angle between these two lines, then we have a parallel vector to these two. The parallel vectors are b1 and b2. For the first line, the parallel vector is b1. For the second line, the parallel vector is b2. So it is equivalent to say that the angle between two lines is also equivalent to finding the angle between their parallel vectors. Okay, so we know how to find the angle between parallel vectors using the dot product. So it will become b1 dot b2 divided by mod of b1 into mod of b2 is equals to, this will become cos theta. So from here we will get the value of cos theta, that is the angle between two lines. Okay, if we have the angle between two lines, from here we can have two results. The two results could be, if the lines are perpendicular to each other, then cos theta will be equals to 0. That means simply b1 dot b2 will be equals to 0. Fine. That means b1 dot b2 is equals to 0. If the lines are parallel, then b1 and b2. That means if the lines are parallel, then b1 and b2 are also parallel. So that means b1 can be written as, let's say, some k times. K is a constant, k times of b2. Right. So if this is happening, then the two lines are parallel or perpendicular. This is from the angle between two lines. Okay. Now we have seen the angle between two lines. One more thing which we can do is we can see the standard equations for three axes: x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. So x-axis, y-axis, and let's say this is z-axis. So by all these three axes are passing through 0, 0, 0 point. correct? And let's take any one point on these axes. The best point could be 1 comma 0 comma 0. This point could be 0 comma 1 comma 0, and this point, let's say this could be 0 comma 0 comma 1. So to find the equation of the x-axis, right, we can use the 2-point form. I will use origin and the points. So x minus 0 divided by 1 minus 0 is equals to y minus 0 divided by 0 minus 0, z minus 0 divided by 0 minus 0. So this is x by 1, y by 0, z by 0. Acha. Why we are taking this example? Because of this reason, that in denominator, in the Cartesian form of the line, if there is something in denominator which is equals to 0, right, it does not mean that this is not defined. This is well defined. Why? Because right now, the value of the denominator simply represents the directional ratios in that particular direction. In that particular direction means that is the parallel vector. So this does not mean that this part is not defined. No, in Cartesian form, this is well defined. This simply means that the directional ratios of the vector parallel to it will be of this form. Right here, the directional ratios are simply direction cosines. So you could have also taken a point 3 comma 0 comma 0 or 2 comma 0 comma 0. Right. So this is the equation for the line x-axis. Similarly, we can write the equation of the line which is y-axis. So x is equals to y divided by, let's say, 3. 0 is equals to z by 0. Right. So this is the equation of y-axis, and let's say the equation of z-axis will be x by 0, y by 0, and let's say z by any variable, let's say k. Right. So this will be the value of the equation of y-axis as well as z-axis. Fine. So I will end here. So I will come back with more such topics in 3D geometry. Okay. Thank you.